And now, The Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
Yep. That's Ticks and Leeches by Tool, so that must mean it's a live bonfire. Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. I'm your host, Big J. Oakerson. Dan Soder, off at Nana's house, but this is it. This is the last day you have to deal with no Dan Soder nonsense. By the way, which I was told by DJ Lou that the women call in when Dan's not even here, asking if he's single.
Yeah, they talk to Black Lou. Tell him.
Yes, a wonderful girl called in yesterday. She wanted to give her Instagram information for Dan.
What was it? Do you have it? Can I vet her for him?
Yeah, give me a second. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I want to vet her real quick. That's okay. Today, this whole week we've had to use guest hosts, and we've had some fun shows. We had Justin Silver in on Monday. We had the Skanks Takeover yesterday, and today, no exception, more fun with camper favorite. Everyone's amigo, everyone. Hilarious. Mike Fenoya.
Yo! What's up, campers?
I'm very happy you're doing the show today. It's been a rough day. Rough day. Rough couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today, now, Isabella, man. 15-year-old kid, it just sucks. Every day is a new adventure. And phone going. And all the thing with the phone, we have to get a hold of her. Like, no, we don't.
No.
I went through my entire schooling with no way of contacting my folks during the day.
Those were the days.
I go, she's going to get kidnapped either way. If you kidnap a fucking 6-foot-tall 15-year-old, then God bless you. You deserve that kidnapping. You earned it. I'll tell you what, she made you earn it.
You can have her.
Yeah, you weren't able to do this inconspicuously. If you kidnap her, I'm just saying to the world, you better kill her, because she's going to fight back.
Wow, she told her, I don't need your attitude right now. She sounds like Anthony Jr. on The Sopranos.
It's really nuts.
Right?
So she's just being like a, what would the word be? Twatty? Teenager. And, it's
Look,
just,
15 years old. I feel like that's kind of when I started to, become quite a piece of shit, too. But
15, is that when it happens?
I think I started partying at, I definitely got drunk for the first time when I was 15. I was smoking cigarettes before then.
Yeah.
And smoked pot for the first time when I was 15.
I even get all these things. I really do.
I'm not sticking up for her.
Of course not. I'm saying, but I get all these things. Here's what I don't get. I'm certainly not it's like, hey, smoke pot, just do it here where I know. I think that's ridiculous. I've never understood that theory. And I knew the kids who had that household, and Soder says he sort of had that household. And but I don't fall in line with that. However, I do have, and she definitely recognizes in me a thing where it's like, I don't know, it's like you're kind of nailed. So what is it? Tell me what's happening here, and we'll figure it out. Right. You're probably going to lose some things, whatever. But she's not a kid who's like constantly like the hammer's coming down on her. So it's just like, come on, what is it thing? Every punishment she's ever had is over in days, if not hours, of really being enforced. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also, I see her only a few times a week, 1 to 3 times a week at best. And so in that time, you don't want to be like fucking fingering her chest the whole time, So
nobody's going to get off if you finger her chest.
She has a pretty good run of being able to like kind of have her fight, and she knows that. And it's like on top of that, then you're being like fucking a cunty too.
Yeah, there's something going on. Weird. I mean, because she's got a pretty sick life. I mean, she's experiencing some shit that most 15-year-olds aren't. You know what I mean? Be
surprised how many people don't understand how good their life is. Christine Evans. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at Mike, but saying your name.
And I'm looking at you through my right ear, Christine. I'll be the prism in this argument. I think.
Oh man, yeah. Don't even. The house is World War III for weeks.
Wow.
My house.
Well, thank God I moved out.
Oh, yeah. It's a good time to move out. Thank God you need a place to sleep.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. I think that it's a good idea for you to definitely kind of get her one-on-one and just be like, all right, kiddo, like, what's the scoop? Let's chat.
I've done that.
I know you have. I mean, but I'm just saying look, she's getting older.
No, I did, man. I think it's time to walk away.
Are you? You gonna change your number?
I mean, what are you going to do now? I did everything I could do.
You want me to get rid of her?
Yeah. I tried the peaceful parenting. I tried the, hey, I'm your buddy, we can talk about this. I've tried the firm. I've tried the firm but fair. All of it just leads back to her going, I don't need your attitude right now. I'm like, Yeah, all right, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go experience life.
Go ahead. Why don't you do it? What about a Scared Straight program? Can we set something up on the radio? Can we do that?
I'm going to take her and Christine to sit them out in the woods and let them go. Just go see how great life is, man. It's awesome. You'll figure it out.
I love that it's either vaping or living in the woods.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Christine's going to have to try to convince Isabella they can somehow create a fucking woods comedy festival that she could produce. Yeah, no, it's a rough, man. It's a rough go with that shit. But,
I mean, how old were you when you started getting out of hand?
I never got out of hand.
Never got out of hand.
Listen, I caused problems for sure for people, but the out of hand things were all like, I had a girlfriend when I was young, who was younger than me. My mother, stupidly, as she's done with every other child she's had, let her move in at one point, which was sort of ridiculous to have her move in. She got pregnant when she was really young, which didn't happen, but like we didn't have a baby. I mean, but like she got pregnant when she was young, and that was like but it was like, again, that was like a couple days, and I sort of learned my lesson on that. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I guess not, because I mean I did have a kid pretty young still, but I didn't do anything like that in teen years again. But you know what I'm saying? So there was those scares, but it was I never called and said I was drunk. I just didn't drink. Now I realize that's an anomaly. I don't think that's I didn't smoke underage cigarettes or weed. Oh wow. I never drank underage. And if I did drink underage, I know my first time drinking hard alcohol was, I think, my 21st birthday. Whoa. At the Comedy Cellar. My first shot ever with Kevin Hart got me a 151 shot. Told me it's fine. Told me I didn't need a chaser.
Did your knees sweat and you'd puke a little bit?
No, I didn't puke at all. I thought I went down. I thought it tasted like water. And then I felt like fire was crawling back up my esophagus. And then one sad litter Indian tear just ran down my face. It was horrible. Yeah,
21 years old. I was taking a break from drinking on my 21st birthday.
Sure. Listen, I know I'm the anomaly in that. I get they do. Listen, it's why I feel like I'm very like, I don't know, what'd you do, idiot? You know what I mean? Just smoke pot? Like, it really is that great? Do you have to do, you know what I mean? Like, you'll be an adult soon, you know what I mean? So it's basically like, don't get caught or fucking stop doing it. You know what I mean? And explain, but I'm more about explaining to her, I'm like, I don't know, I'm really happy I didn't find pot in high school, because I think I would have been a burnout, because I'm like, I get it, you just escape and just chill and giggle with your friends, I get it, but like, there's no end game to that. And I could talk to her. I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? But when that's just kind of met with like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not doing anything like that. And then I said the one that got me too was she gave me her bullshit story about the vape stuff a couple days ago. And I was like, okay. I'm like, this is the truth, Isabella? And she's like, yeah, it's the truth. I go, okay. I go, well, look, it's being looked into. So, I mean, if you're not, I'm giving you every opportunity to just kind of be honest. You know, this wasn't like an aggressive phone call. This was a phone call about talking about other things too. Yep. You know, positive or whatever. And saying those things to her. And then she was like, when she spoke to her mom, and her mom was like, Isabella, this doesn't add up. This doesn't seem right. She's like, I can't believe you're the only person who doesn't believe me. She's like, Dad believes me? So and so. And I told her, I was like, do you think that's what happened? Do you think that? Isabel, I always think you're doing the worst. I'm surprised this isn't heroin. Do you know what I mean? Right. I'm going for the worst. I'm just saying, I'm giving you the chance here to do the right thing. Like, the cat's sort of out of the bag. It's going to be found out.
You know what the thing is, too?
So it's like, this isn't a thing. I get her. Listen, I don't think because if she smokes weed behind my back, I don't think that when we're driving down to the Sixers game that she's going to go, you know, my dad's being really cool. He's taking me. We're sitting front row at a Sixers game. This is going to be so. He's too good. I shouldn't lie to him. I should tell him the truth. I don't expect that. I'm not an idiot.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No, that's good.
So I don't even have an anger of going like, you're doing this shit and lying about it and I'm taking you to these fun things. What I hate is after I go, hey, come on, it's me, the guy we're going to do these fun things. I'm the guy you talk to. You tell me what's going on.
It's a Sixers game just the other day.
Oh, DJ Lou.
My daughter's in the bathroom doing yay.
DJ Lou, I can only wish to have a daughter as cool as you. I take that back, DJ Lou. You're way cooler. Will you be my daughter?
Will you be my daughter?
Certainly.
Can you grow your hair?
Can I take you to the daddy-daughter dance?
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna be like you, Jay.
Yeah.
Dude,
maybe. And by the way, this isn't like, I don't have like that gloom and doom of like, that's it, she's gonna be a fucking loser. But I had to drop the hammer today on a thing where I'm like, I don't know why you're being a jerk off to two people who, one, take care of you very, very well.
Nah.
And whatever, but Carla's thing right away goes, she's like, well, so now I gotta go, I guess, find her a tutor for chemistry. I go, no. I go, because that's falling on my expense, which is fine. I don't even mind that, but I go, she hasn't done the free things she was supposed to. The teacher said she would help her extra, and she's not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, what the fuck are you going to do?
I mean, you're definitely more involved, and I mean, you and Carla, like, you brought her to the movies the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I went to the movies with my parents together ever in my life. And I was one of the kids that was like, oh, wait.
Turn it up, Lou.
Oh, is at the friend's house? And I had to lie to my parents? I never told them anything that was true. I always lie. I love you, Dad.
Jacob, what'd your dad do?
I
Fuck
love
your
you,
butt or
Dad.
something? Come on, jump in.
I love you, Dad. I had the parents where I was just like, I'm going to sleep over, and I left, and they didn't know anything about me.
And then you're like,
at
did
all.
crack under a bridge?
And I did crack under a bridge. I'd sell Lucy's to bums, and I would just hang out in the woods or hang out at my buddies. Two of my good friends were the parents who were like, leave your keys in a bowl and I'll buy you kegs.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just hang out and, but it was good to have that house. But if that was my house, I would have been miserable because we didn't really, we destroyed their house. I mean, it was terrible. But my point is that like, those are the two polar, my parents didn't know anything I was doing until they caught me and grounded me forever. And then there were the people who were like, just do it here. You know what I'm saying? So you've got this like big like field in between of like, how do you figure it out with her, And I mean, taking shit away, does it work? Like, do you find that like
it's the only thing. I mean, will it work in changing her attitude to it?
Do you take away like like things?
No, she needs her sports.
That's what I'm
She needs
saying.
sports. She's the laziest fucking kid.
That's
in
when
the
my
world.
dad busted me drinking. He took away football camp. And I
Yeah,
was
my
like,
mom would
that's
take
the
that
thing
away from me too. Sports when I was younger. That's a weird one because like sports is sort of, it's fun, but it's like it's an organized responsibility to a point
Right,
too.
yeah. I was like, great. I don't have to go run sprints for a
It's
month
really kind of what it comes down. Yeah,
Syracuse.
no more. Yeah, it's exactly like she's like no practice tonight, and it's like no, make her go do her running and shit. It's when she comes home, she shouldn't have a power button on anything in her hand.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I'm like, don't let me go to football. I could work on my bong upstairs.
But how ridiculous I felt for so long. I even have a thing in my set where I talk about punishing her and taking away her phone. I go, but you got to get a hold of her, so I need her to have her phone. It's like, you know what? I don't have to get a hold of her.
No.
I don't get a hold of her. I don't. If she has a set thing of where she has to be and where she's supposed to be, then she should be there. That's it.
It's an easier world to get away with shit now, too, though. I mean, you could kind of like, you could vape weed, you can do Molly, you can, like, it was a lot harder if you came home stinking like a
take
Molly.
What else can I do?
MDMA. What else can you do? You can do blow in the bathroom.
Can I inject Advil right into my dick veins?
Do you think scaring her would do something? My little brother, when he was like 13.
Sure. Oh no, it'll do something for sure. It'll get me put in jail, which I'll
me to
pick
do
up
it?
services again. Yeah, can you just jump her?
I'll just put a bag over her head and bring her to like Bridgeport, Connecticut, and
Fucking-
just drop her off, let her find her way home.
Oh, I was just saying more of like an immediate, like a Nancy Kerrigan or when she's coming out of stupid soccer practice.
Want to know what I did to my little brother? It was such a stupid thing. He got busted drinking when he was like 13. And I put him in the car and I brought him to the ghetto in downtown New Haven. And I go, get out. And I just let him out and then drove around the block and just let him like stand there among all like the bums and shit.
Is you suggesting to take my daughter to the projects and just set her free?
I think that's what you might want to do.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe she'll find a boyfriend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A big boned, 6 foot tall white girl? Yeah. Good idea. Let's drop her off in the hood. She'll be married by the time I get around the block.
What if you pull back around and she's just breaking knees on the basketball court?
Yeah. I get her on the block, she's going to have her fucking eyebrows tattooed on.
She's got people working for her already.
Although her fucking athletic ability is going to be through the roof. She's going to know how to fight.
It's so fucking hard to do, man. I don't want to be a parent for this reason. Because you want to be cool.
Brandon in Texas says taking the phone away works. Change the Wi-Fi password. Yeah, those are all things that are going to happen for sure, Brandon. Thanks for the advice. But and that is, yeah, I mean, that's the phone going away is going to be a thing. And then her social life becomes being at school. But like she's so not afraid of Carla.
Yeah.
That like she doesn't have her phone right now. She's like restricted from her phone. And Carla went in the room the other day, and she was like casually just on FaceTime with a friend on her iPad. And it's like, what do you think? That's like the cool. Like you're like Carla's gonna walk in the room and go like, "You found the loophole."
Right.
Like, I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Take all of it away. You have to take everything away.
Yeah, that's what I said. All of it, and it's got to be away for a long time.
Man, 15-year-old daughter in 2018. What a terrible. I'm sorry.
Look, at the end, she's gonna be fine.
When's she gonna be 16?
If she's not fine, let's go. It's almost I can't take much of the blame. We're doing everything we can.
You're doing great. We've talked about this. You're a great dad. You call her and you talk. I mean,
well, it's funny because
you do the things that most dads don't, that are present all the time.
Well, it's funny they say the things of like like about coming, trying to be like come down hard or be her friend. You got to walk to lunch and being a friend and stuff. And like she just had like. It's been a real coast for her, so she really, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think.
There's also the making up. Listen, there's a bit in there of making up that for a couple years there of, me and her mom aren't together anymore. I know she took that hard when it first happened. Her mom has a new baby. You know what I mean? There's a responsibility to that, but like everything, I mean, she's really has her proverbial dick sucked for the most minimal thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like I know Carla feels bad at times because she babysits for Carla, the sister. I'm like, that's her sister. She fucking babysits her because she's the age I don't understand. I don't recall having these options when I was younger.
No, absolutely not. I had to watch my brother and sisters all the time.
I didn't. Whenever
I was just stoned the whole time.
My step-pop and mom's schedule would change so much. Like sometimes they would do 16-hour shifts on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So my Saturday and Sunday, they'd leave for 16-hour shifts. So they'd go at like, what is that, 6 in the morning? Or so, whatever it was, like 6, 7 in the morning, they'd go to work, and they'd come home at like midnight. When I was like a kid.
And you didn't drink or do drugs. That blows me away.
I didn't even go. I wasn't going out those nights because I was. But I had friends that would come over, and my kind of group of friends or people who would come by. But then that would change, and it wouldn't be the weekends like that, and it would be after school every day. Their schedule would change. They're medical professional people, but
right.
Their schedule would change to weekdays. So I get home from school, and one would leave, and then I'd be with my little brother, when it was just my little brother, till midnight, and I'm like 13. And I just did it. There was no like, well, because of that, this. Now, as I got a little bit older, the one my mom would give me a while is if I watched them a lot on a certain occasion, I could be like, if I'm going to be up watching till midnight tonight, can I not go to school tomorrow? My mom would be like, yeah, you can stay home from school tomorrow.
Nice.
Whatever. So it's like stuff like that I got. But I also wasn't, my grades were never amazing. I failed one class ever in school and had to go to summer school and learn that lesson. And then I always did enough to get by, and I just wasn't a consummate problem. But I did have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
But my dick also wasn't sucked for that responsibility. Like I feel this happens now.
Well, and it was totally.
I think if a kid does anything, they're like, "What an amazing kid!" And I know that's what I'm saying almost with drinking. Blah, blah, blah. This is what they do.
Yep.
This is what they do at that age. They're like, no, not all of them. All of them do something and something happens. However, like, because that's what I'm saying. I had my shit when I was a teenager.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I got my fucking girlfriend pregnant, but like, I wasn't just, but I was also like a good kid.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, I was a good kid. And Isabella really seems to becoming like a.
And that's the part that blows. That's the part that blows. We used to party and we used to get away with whatever, but we were always respectful enough to like not. It wasn't like a fuck you. It was I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's it.
If she's getting something, that's a talkative and like fun. But it's like, man, I swear to God, and maybe it's just chicks. I swear I have the same complaints about Christine.
Really,
almost identical.
She's failing chemistry.
I complain about Christine, Isabella, and Louis J. Gomez. All the same exact problems I have with all three of them. That is a fact. All three of them.
When I was grounded, all I would do is just do the shit that I couldn't do with my friends on the weekends at school. I would just go in the woods and smoke a joint before going to high school, or go outside and wood shop and smoke cigarettes. Like, I just still figured out. I think grounding doesn't work. I really don't, and especially now where she has 10 different devices where she can connect with people. I mean, I had to sit in my fucking room, and that, but I'd go sit on the roof and smoke a cigarette, Like, I figured it out, you know what I mean? But I was never a shithead, and that's the thing. I was never like that part That part would annoy the fuck out of me.
I think losing the phone also is going to give her a personality again, quite honestly. That's what I'm saying. Is even if she comes in and we go to dinner or something, she's just nonstop looking at her phone like the entire, like you can't have a conversation with her. You try. On the way to that Sixers game, Christine and her were in the backseat of the car. She had her headphones on the entire time in a car ride. It was almost like the moment.
Yeah, but we used to. I
didn't want to talk because I was furious at Christine also on that trip. So I didn't want to talk anyway in the car. So it was fine to just put on music and go. But yeah, it's just like a completely, like, she just checks out.
I mean,
like,
you did that too, though, right? I did that. I listened to music constantly once I was able to, you know what I mean? I always
No, if I was in a car, I'd be like, I'm there for the company of the whatever.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow, not me. I would have it on. Not if it was just like me and my mom alone in the car, I would talk to her. But if it was like, my siblings or other people, I always had headphones on. I had them on constantly.
Yeah.
In school, too.
Well, you were an asshole.
I guess. I was listening to my mom's music at least. I
Yeah.
had Sheena Easton on my Walkman. So
Yeah, no shit.
Crystal Gale,
That's fucking fantastic. All face straight chick music. Early Heart.
Early Heart.
Well, here's the good news: is we're going to take our first commercial break here in a few minutes, and there is something that can cheer me up today, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but earlier today I got a call from a number I didn't know
Yeah.
when I was heading up to here, and it said, and then I got a text from the same number that says, "Big J, Dice."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Give me a jingle, dog," which is one of my. I'll save that text forever. Give me a jingle, dog. And I wrote that I was going to the radio show and blah. And he said, he's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Are you live?" He goes, "How about I should be doing it in Dice? How about I fucking call in?" Nobody texted me. He goes, "How about I call in today when you guys are live?" And so I gave him the hotline number. And when we come back from break, I believe in just about 5 minutes or so, the man himself, Andrew Dice Clay, is going to be calling in today. So
Wow,
that's pretty
dude.
exciting. It will be our first official conversation ever. We haven't really had a conversation at all.
How cool.
Voice to voice. So yeah, so
What a
it's happened
week.
right here on the Bonfire. It's been quite a week.
Yeah.
I've lost a girlfriend, I've lost a daughter, but I've gained a Dice.
You gained a Dice.
Which is worth 3 girlfriends.
Altogether, it's 2 full gloves. I love it.
Mary, quite contrary. Trim that pussy, it's so damn hairy.
That is so cool, man.
I just I called my stepfather yesterday and was telling him that Dice kind of acknowledged me on the thing.
Yeah.
And then just for a half hour, me and my stepfather going goes, "I could have been anything. I could have been a fisherman. Fishermen. They sell fish. They smell fish. Reminds me of this girl Vaughn I used to date. She smelled like fish." I could do it all day. It makes me so happy.
How fucking cool.
Black
Dude, when you
Lou,
got up.
at least learn that my daughter's name is spelled with a Z, you son of a bitch. If you and your cousins are going to gangbang her in an alley somewhere,
Oh.
you at least know how to spell her goddamn name.
Looking for a promotion, huh? How cool.
So when we come back, how long does this break go, Lou? I want to time this well.
3 minutes.
It's a 3-minute break. Mike, sing a song.
Sing us. Why we can't talk? How fucking great was it that how great was it when you saw that Instagram with that him mentioning your name? I mean, you called
yeah, I
me.
talked
You
about it
called me.
yesterday, yeah.
I know, but you called me and you were like, "This is fucking incredible."
It's incredible. It's incredible. I just like that through some channels he found out, who I was, which is great because, I historically, which I wish I could find, wrote him what could only be described as a love letter several years ago on Facebook. So much so that his assistant wrote back "Hey, Dice doesn't answer these. I feel like you really poured your heart into that, and I'm embarrassed for you. So we're just gonna leave that alone."
Yeah, I hope this isn't one of these things where the wanting is better than the getting. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Sometimes you meet someone and it's like, "Oh, this is him. This is her."
No. First of all, I think he lays himself out there pretty honestly to the world. So I think you've seen, the reality show I watched religiously. I love the Showtime show. Mm-hmm. So
you know what you're getting.
Yeah. How could it be wrong, man? You're gonna be Dice. If he calls me a big fatso right away, it's gonna be hilarious. You ton of shit. You big fat fuck that you are.
I can't wait to watch you talk to him.
We're over here now.
That's gonna be great, right?
We'll
Black
be
Lewis?
back over there. It's the Bonfire.
And now,
So proud to present to all the campers out there my comedy hero, everyone, the living legend, Mr. Andrew Dice Clay. Dice, you there, buddy?
Big J, we are already brothers.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
You don't even fucking understand. I'm going to do something for you right now I don't normally do because of the fact when I just called in at 333, which I see constantly, okay?
Uh-huh.
Put that song back on that you could hear me also.
Okay.
Put it back on.
World's oldest bluesman.
We're going down. We're going up, down, down, up any way you want to let it roll. yeah. Keep it going, boys. You got me doing what you want me. Baby, what do you want me to do? All right, take it down, Jay. Take it down, brother.
holy shit.
That was fantastic.
You don't understand. When I would do like all those arenas, and I've heard you talk about all that shit, I would have an 8-piece band, and after an hour and a half of filth, I'd first go into the Elvis concert. You know, but I wouldn't mock them. You know, Jerry Schilling, who produced the new Elvis thing on HBO, who happened to be Elvis's best friend, would always give me the rights to, you know, redo Elvis music.
Oh,
because he knew that I learned everything I know about performing from Elvis Presley, not comedians. Comedians are assholes.
By the way,
they're performance-less.
You know, it's funny. I agree with you so much on that, and that was pointed out to me. I had an opportunity some years back to go on tour with some bands. I've been like Rob Zombie and Korn and bands like that. And in going out with them, those guys would tell me when I'd go out on these stages to do comedy in front of these rock and roll crowds, you know, which isn't always the easiest thing. They were like, be more rock and roll about it. They said, like, perform, like, own it. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to wear something, you know, you can go on stage and wear something a little flashier or gaudier or whatever your look is, you know, like, kind of just do it up bigger. And most comics will laugh at you for that. You know, that's kind of the nature of comedy, is to go, like, strip it down. This is too much.
Well, yes, let me ask you. I used to call myself the Serpico of the Comedy Store. You know who Serpico was?
Hell yeah.
The cop. Yeah. So when I was doing Dice, you know, and I started wearing the leathers, and you know, especially once the career took off. Well, you know how jealous all these cocksuckers are when any career takes off. But you know, I'm a bigger than life guy, and the jackets I had made were all my influence of Elvis Presley. So
right.
The collars were gigantic and the sleeves, and I really liked giving people something they never saw before. But what was funny is when I first came out to L.A. and I'd see all these assholes on stage, you know, like Leno, and, you know, these guys don't move. They look dead, half of them, when they're standing up there.
Sweaters and slacks.
And they're funny. I'm not saying they're not funny, but they didn't move. So when I went back to Brooklyn, my mother, you know, would ask me about the comics out in L.A., and I would say they're funny, but they don't know anything, Ma, about, like, entertainment, entertaining people. So she goes, so what are you going to do? And I go, I'll just become the Elvis of comedy. I go, look at the face.
Wow.
I like the nonchalant. Goes, I'll just do it.
I'll just be the John Lennon of comedy.
I go, Mom, I'm drop dead fucking good. You know that. I go out to L.A. I don't need one girlfriend like I would have in Brooklyn. Anything that moves, I stick on my dick. I don't care if it's a fucking waitress, a cover girl. I don't care if she's got some kind of little deformity, like her ear got fucked up at birth. What do I give a fuck? You know, as long as I got somebody in front of me.
Equal opportunity Elvis.
No, but I would bring these girls up to Crest Hill, which I lived for longer than any comic ever lived there, the house that Mitzi owned. And I lived there for 6.5 years, and, you know, I have a girl there every night just to explain, do you understand that I'm going to be the biggest thing that ever came out of the comedy world, ever? And that's what I went and did, you know, and then for them listening, you know, I'd let them suck on my dick, I'd fuck them, you know, I'd eat that. I'd have a good time with them. Nice girls, you know. I remember one time Mitzi comes walking in, and this manager of, like, the Westwood Comedy Store, do you know what Crystal was, the house?
Yeah, I know that Mitzi owned the house and the comics would live there.
Okay. So I'm on this, like a half-moon porch overlooking the city, okay? And I'm facing the house, and this girl happens to be on her knees sucking on my dick. And here comes Mitzi down the stairs looking for August. I mean, nothing stopped. She just comes right. She's fuming, and she goes, have you seen August? And, like, the girl's not going to get it. What's the girl going to do? I'm standing there with my dick in the fucking mouth. And I go, no, I think he's down at the store. You know, and she looks at the girl, and she goes, and when you're done here, you're fired. You know, and she just leaves.
She let her finish.
She let her forget when you're done.
Yeah,
get your stuff.
I would grab these girls and I would tell them what I was going to be. And what do you think would be blasting on my little cassette boombox? Elvis.
That's
Elvis, Jay.
And you know what's so beautiful at the time you were doing this too is such a great time. Also in L.A., just that's the Sunset Boulevard, Whiskey A Go Go. The rock and roll scene was so good now. And you know, if you get embraced, if you become a rock and roll comic kind of star the way you did, you have. You know, you're kind of lining yourself up with these guys. I mean, young comics now, the bands they're lining up, you know, if a band likes them, it's like, oh, so-and-so is really good friends with Modest Mouse. And like the black, you know, he's like these khaki bands. There's no more rock and but I think it's coming back around. Yeah. I really do. I think the world's ready.
Rock and roll. All right, listen, we're going to get into, look, my boys still rebel.
Absolutely.
Okay? Number one, Billy Gardell gave them a shot like 2 years ago on the Late Late Show. All of a sudden, I get a call from Sharon Osbourne going, I need the new Led Zeppelin, that's what she called them at the time, to open Ozfest, which I couldn't believe I got that call. I mean, you know.
In San Bernardino.
They're the rebirth, but they're not Led Zeppelin. They don't want to be Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean? They just play real rock and roll. And I know you happen to be a fan and sometimes play their music and stuff. And I know you got some stuff there.
Yeah.
You know, let's give them 30 seconds of Still Rebel, and then I want to get into talking to you.
Oh, by all means, please. Yes, Still Rebel.
You are just an animal. You can tell the people what they're going to hear.
I got a chance to actually talk to Max a couple times ago that I was in L.A. and tell him how much I appreciate his music. Drums is the one instrument that I try to give a whirl to also, so I could really appreciate like how good your boys are at playing music. It's really impressive. And this is Still Rebel, the track. What track are we going to play, Lou? Closer.
Close is a good one.
Sick.
Love it.
That's awesome.
No, they're rock and roll. They're real rock and roll.
Yeah, see, and like I said, they're not trying to be copycats of any band. I mean, you know, this asshole out there, this Jason Flom, this cocksucker.
Oh, I got to meet him. He is a kind of a cocksucker.
He's a cocksucker, and he's got a copycat band of I don't even want to say their name. I want them publicity. Good musicians and everything, but they are being Led Zeppelin. We don't need another Led Zeppelin, especially when Led Zeppelin's still around.
That's so funny.
Okay?
I actually know exactly the band you're talking about just by that description, because that's what everybody says about
Yeah, I
this
don't
band.
even want to talk.
Sure.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is, the album you're listening to is Still Rebel. Valley Days is the name of the album. People could get it on Spotify or iTunes. And my other son is the singer and writer of all the songs, Dylan Scott. And just as a plug, I'm going to do this plug, and then I got to talk about it. They'll be at the last week they were with the XI Blind at the Viper Room, and this Saturday night they'll be at the Kibitz Room, which is like their comedy store. Which is on what is it on? Fairfax.
Fairfax, that's
They'll be on
Cantor's.
at 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's right next to it. It's called the Kibitz Room, and that's like their comedy store for them. And it's like where Guns N' Roses came out of.
Yeah.
And, I just love going to their shows and watching them rock the room. So it should be a great show. So it's Saturday at 11.
But that's...
All right. Now let's get into you.
Sure.
The reason... Yeah, because I've been watching you and what we were talking about with performance and your own style. And, I have seen guys, like I was just talking about a Led Zeppelin impersonating band.
Sure.
Okay. I always believe influence is a good thing. I wasn't influenced by comics. I love Jerry Lewis's Nutty Professor. And that was the end of what I loved with Jerry Lewis. Other than that,
you didn't like some of his fantastic ideas about the Jews, or?
But the thing is, I snuck out of my room the night the '68 special of Elvis aired, and that's when I knew what I was going to be. You know what I mean? And I didn't mean a singer. I wasn't sure, but I loved the image. Even at 12 years old, I understood what that could be. And then, there have been comics that have come along that have had, they're doing good, but they're like Dice impersonators. And then I see you, who wear those fingerless gloves, which I put on today. I put it up on one of my Instagrams, just to show you, because I loved it, because that's a respectful thing. But your whole attitude on stage and your subject matter, even when you're talking about your daughter and don't be a fucking whore when you're playing soccer. I mean, it's hysterical, and I've like been waiting because recently I don't know, over the last few months, like I never used to work my own social media, and now I am, and of course I fucked the whole thing up, but some girl like gets in touch with me. She even got in touch with me like yesterday. Oh, you do know him? And I'm going, yeah, I don't know you. His name is like Spank or something. Do you know who I'm talking about? Spanker? Irma something, some kind of girl.
I'm not sure.
And but anyway, she obviously she loves you, and so I just think you're an original. That's why I'm calling you. I think you do something in comedy worth watching. You own who you are on that stage. You crush whenever you go on, and that's what I think of you. But you're doing it in an original way. Wow. And I love the gloves. I freak out for the gloves, and I call my agent and I go, I'm going to get Big J on the phone. I didn't know it was going to be on the radio, and I'm going to tell him we got to do the 2018 Suck My Dick Fingerless Glove Tour.
Oh yeah,
we got to do something special.
I completely agree. It's my dream to do it with you, man.
Yeah, and what I love is how powerful. See, a lot of headlining guys like weak comics on when they work the road.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they want a guy that's like a 5 instead of a 10. Like, number one, I've been using. I know you know Eleanor Kerrigan.
Sure. Love Eleanor.
Yeah. Now, Eleanor to me is just the best female stand-up in the country. This girl has been crushing my audiences that it gets to a point I go, Eleanor, it's getting hard to follow you. And this is a girl she couldn't give a fuck who's out there, what they yell at her, she destroys everybody. She talks about her 14-inch fucking clit, whatever the fuck it is, that she'll fucking ram it down that fucking throat and blow her load into that fucking belt. She doesn't care.
She's straight up Philly. There. That's what I love about her. She's straight up Philly.
Yeah, and isn't that where you're from?
Yeah.
Is it Philly or Jersey?
No, I'm from Philly, from West Philadelphia originally. Yeah, that's why me and her, I think when we first started talking, even our connection was just that, talking about her, I forget what she calls her brother is my favorite thing in the world. Do you remember what it is, Christine?
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid, yeah, the kid.
I got to FaceTime Billy the Kid.
If you got to understand, I went with Eleanor. We were like connected, like by my cock for a few years. And, but I don't mean that like in a bad way. Like I really liked her on top of that. And, she learned how to cook and everything. She could do anything with a chicken. But when I met her, all she could do was bake chicken. Little chicken strips. And I had this fucking argument, that neighbors were ringing my bell. They thought somebody was going to get killed in this apartment. And I'm opening the door going, do you understand? This girl grew up with 10 brothers and sisters from South Philly, and she doesn't know how to fucking cook.
That is insane.
Who doesn't know how to cook? Yeah. In the meantime, today, maybe not for whoever goes with this girl. She could do anything with a chick. She'll make a chicken dance for you. You know what I mean? No, but honestly speaking, one of the greatest people ever. She's been opening my shows since she started in comedy for 10 years, and she just destroys. And I know when she finally gets her 1 hour special, which I don't understand why these fucking dumb dicks at fucking Netflix don't give her one already, because she's absolutely fucking better than everybody they're putting on. As far as girls, I mean, I worked with Natasha Leggero, who's a good comedian, but Eleanor would run circles around these fucking people. It's ridiculous. But, if you're not friends with somebody, fucking asshole people. Anyway.
No, you're right about that. It really is. It's a lot of, politics, connection, and all that kind of shit. They decide who they're going to make the person, and then they just make them the person at all costs. It doesn't really matter what's going on.
She is just a top-notch stand-up. I have the roughest crowds. I would say me and Joe Rogan have the roughest crowds in the world. And it's not even a thought in her head when she goes on stage. She comes on to fucking Little Kim music and then just destroys them. It's amazing.
She's fearless because she probably grew up fighting guys.
Well, Philly, where you come from, Philly is the city that made Dice a star.
TLA, the TLA, Dice Man Cometh.
That's it, because, I'm from Brooklyn. Of course, I love Brooklyn, where I'm from. I always will. But I used to play a club in Philly called the Comedy Factory Outlet.
Yeah.
Do you remember that place?
No, it was done. By the time I started in Philadelphia, there was only a black comedy club that used to be David Brenner's Laugh House. It just became a place called the Laugh House, and it was like urban club.
Yeah, and so when I had to do the special, I said Philly, because every time I would play there, it was like mania. It was insanity. So I did 2 specials at Theater of Living Arts on, what street is that again?
South Street. Same street the comedy club was, yeah, South Street. 4th and South.
Oh, yeah. And the underwear in some of the stores there was beyond fucking belief. Because... I know you. Are you married? You married? I know you got a daughter.
I'm technically married, but no, separated. I have a girlfriend, though. My girlfriend's Christine. She's the producer of this show.
All right. Well, this is even more important. This is for you and Christine, because you got to understand I'm a little older than you. Mm-hmm. And I even knew, like, 30 years ago. Like, you know how you like a girl to walk in a room with a different color thong or a see-through, and I'm not talking about your girl or anything, like my girls. Like when they come walking in with their big pig tits hanging out of the fucking top of that fucking bra, and maybe the fucking bra is like a see-through pink, and you know the fucking thong that you just want to glue your fucking beak to the tip of a fucking lips, those thick fucking rubbery lips. You know, we get it's the look of them that makes us want to do it. So 30 years ago, what were they making for men? For white, gray, and black.
Right.
So in Philly, I found a couple stores that you could walk in that had the colors, that had the fucking fabric. If you ever went to Abe's on Pashank Avenue.
Passyunk Avenue.
Yeah. So he had an underwear section in there that was beyond fucking belief. That you could walk in. I would walk in at that time with, I forget what wife it was. I've had a bunch of them. And, yeah, so I know what you're going through. And you'd walk in the room with like a fucking rig that held your fucking package that didn't have the, you know how on underwear they make the thing to take your cock out sideways?
Yeah.
You know? Like, like you're a fucking Chinaman or something. You know what I mean? You know, they had the underwear like it's a pouch, like a fucking kangaroo, that you could be driving to a party and your chick is going, just let me taste it.
And you could pull her exit because it was a horizontal opening. That's what Tommy John does now.
Exactly. And I got that in Philly, and then I found them in Hollywood, and now all the different brands like To Exist and Hugo Boss, even Alfani has caught up a little. Okay? And they're no big fucking deal. Calvin Klein could kiss my fucking balls. He was last on the fucking list when I go into fucking Macy's for the 50% sale.
It is hard to get Roadhead and It's hard to get Roadhead and BVDs.
Exactly. And I never understood that. Even when I was like in my late teens, you know, because I'd always make whatever little hooer I was dating, I'd want her to be wearing something sexy underneath.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm the nicest guy in the world. Don't get me wrong. I treat a girl with respect. But when it comes time to take her into the workroom, I want to get excited. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, before I start digging in, I want to look at her. I want to take some fucking Polaroids and go, look at you. And your mother wants to say, what a sweet, nice girl you are. You're the biggest fucking hooer. You're the biggest fucking hooer in the state of fucking New York, you dirty fucking animal. I love you.
Oh,
you know,
I totally agree. There's many times I've looked at Christina after we've done the things we do, and I just look at her and go, it's probably for the best your mother passed when you were young, or else you'd have to look her in the eye again.
Yeah, I got to see some pictures of her. You know, I'm sure she's a nice girl, but the point is, the minute you looked at her, you knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
You knew.
No,
you
absolutely.
had that attraction. It's what I talk to a lot about, like to my sons, Max and Dylan, because, you know, if you don't feel that magnetic thing immediately, it's never happening. And that's the first thing. The chemistry is the first thing. That's it. You know?
Absolutely.
And, you know, when they do their gigs, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I remember like a couple months ago at the Whiskey, whatever, and these blonde girls follow my son Dylan out to his truck when he's loading the truck up afterwards, you know, and they're a little older than him, and I'm coming over to him going, what's up with the girls, you know, because like I'm single now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he goes, you know, I don't really, you know, it's too old for. I go, throw her in the fucking truck, bring her over. What, you know, what are we going to quibble over this? You know what I mean? We'll smoke a couple joints. Everybody's going to have a great time. It's nuts. I go, that's what rock and roll is. Who cares? But,
I like that you have to teach him that. He's like, I was going to go home and write some new lyrics. Like, fuck lyrics.
Yeah, but that's how he is. He, you know, he's very. He wants something very special. You know, very particular. You know, he It's not like his father. I'm just an animal when it comes to... My son Max is more like me in that way. You know what I mean?
He likes the party of it a little bit.
Yeah, but Max will also, like, if I, now that I'm single, like, I'll show him, like, pictures of girls that, like me or something.
Uh-huh.
And if he doesn't think the girl is right, he'll just look away, and he'll go, "No, Dad." And I go, all right, so her nose is fucked up. You know what I mean? I don't need a... And he'll go, "No, you're not going to go with her. You're just not going with her."
He's looking out for his old man.
And even when he does, he loves doing the stand-up, so when he goes on stage, he'll, like, yell about me with that shit, And, but Jay, me and you, Fingerless Glove Tour from Philadelphia. I don't know, off the top of my head, just to try something. Oh, my God, we'll just fucking blow people's minds away.
I would absolutely. I remember how jealous I was watching. I'm a huge same old.
Exactly.
Same old. Yeah. Just
oh my God.
Everything you'd expect. But
I love that guy. I really do.
One of the most genuinely sweet human beings I've ever met. He really is a great guy, and he's just
amazing. And when he does the show Crashing,
yeah,
which I absolutely fucking love.
Oh yeah.
Because. Oh, that's the perfect guideline for anybody that wants to be a stand-up.
It is. It's very cool. It's a cool show, and it was neat that Pete in the pilot episode had me play myself as the person that I was to him in his life. Because Pete was one of many comics. I've been doing it for 20 years now, so it's funny to watch all these comics who have kind of like. I watched them starting open mics when I was already working the club scene. And, shot past for whatever reason. And Pete came back and was always really cool to me in that, like, he remembered me when he was barking outside comedy clubs, taking him to some of the comedy clubs with me and just introducing him around. I thought he was a funny kid, and I did whatever I could to help him.
I like that they make it real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That what you did was real with him. See, I never knew that, so that's great.
I actually have gotten a weird amount of shit. I've gotten a weird amount of shit from comics in my life, kind of saying that I probably should have focused more. And there's truth to it on my own career.
Focus more on what?
Well, on my own career, but I always kind of had a thing that if I had like a little bit of an opening at all that I saw, I would try to be like the people who I thought were, because my career required so much help. I mean, Dave Attell helped me in ways that I could never repay. Patrice O'Neill, Keith Robinson, some of these guys were just amazing guys that really supported. Robert Kelly, that kind of supported me when I just had nothing going, and they just kept me on the road with them, paying me extra money, more than the clubs were paying me to do it, and just looking out. So I've always kind of felt that way too. If there's guys who I liked or I thought were funny, like I fought to bring people on the road with me to open for me on the road and get them hooked up and stuff as best I can. That was done for me.
I was able to do that once my career took off. I'm also in that way that I love to really, like I just spoke about Eleanor and, what I think about her. And to me, she's the best opening act I've ever had since Jim Norton.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you talk to Jim Norton, I'm not going to toot my horn, but he would tell you what I did for his. Jim Norton opened for me, I don't know, for, what was it, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I remember that very much. I was around that at that point.
Yeah, and then once I got him with the Opie and Anthony show, that was it.
Game changer.
It just blew.
Yep.
Eddie Griffin, another one. So I like, I almost get disappointed when somebody's with me that doesn't take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because you want to believe your own taste.
Well, it's just I like to put people up there. Lenny Clark. Yeah, when I had him opening for me, I'll never forget. We were doing the Universal Amphitheater, and he called me up and he goes, "Dice, can I bring some people, like industry people?" And I go, "Lenny, that's what it's all about. It's not about the gig. It's about what can happen from the gig." And he wound up with his own TV show, which just failed miserably. Okay, No, but it's a happy ending. But then he got cast in the John Larroquette show from his show as a cop, and that went for 10 years. He had, Lenny's had a giant career.
Oh, yeah.
But there were guys that would say, what do you mean bring people? I'm not letting you bring... The whole idea is like, when you open for me, I want you to blow up. I want you to become a star.
Well, it's funny, people, they do things where I've heard the reason why I've gotten is, I guess notoriously, there's comedians who bring opening acts that are particularly bad, which kind of sets the tone so they can kind of come in and save the day. Whereas I've always brought the guys where I'm like, I want them to make me work, and I want them to bring them back to work there separate from me another time.
Jay.
Yeah, buddy.
Isn't that what we were talking about before?
Yeah.
That you want them so good, you almost feel like, how am I going to follow that?
You got to step your game up. Yeah.
That's it.
It makes you not go out there and read a script. That's the worst thing to me, is going out there and feeling like I'm reading a script every night. Like, I want somebody to go up there and make it so you have to acknowledge how good they did, kind of change the vibe to your vibe and do it. It's an amazing thing. It makes it more fun. It keeps it, I think, more alive in the room.
Oh, you know what bit? I don't know why this bit popped into my head about you.
Yeah.
It's the bit where you talk about like how you're not tough, and with the West Side Story. Or something.
Yeah, that was on Bad Boys of Comedy.
When you no, what are you talking about? It's one of the greatest. It might have been the reason I was born, is to see that one little bit.
That was so fun.
When you do the backups after the guy fucking hits you, but yet there are still backup singers that come out of somewhere. Like, I'll take it to that level. What do you sing again when after the guy punched? Like, you come out like snapping your finger or something. Like,
I go, I'm a crazy motherfucker, and you don't want to mess with me. And they go, motherfucker, crazy motherfucker.
Crazy motherfucker. One of the greatest. I don't know. See, it's things like that I could lose sleep over for weeks on end.
I'll tell you what I always do whenever someone asks who my favorite comics are, and I say Dice, and people will go like, if anyone ever questions that in any way, I go, because I went to a psychotherapist and said, "Hey doc, I'm having a hard time making friends, you fucking cocksucker." that's one of my. I mean, that's in my top 5 all-time jokes ever told by anybody.
Even though you just told it wrong, but that doesn't matter. Paraphrase. No, I forgot. No, but no, that's the stuff when you wake up and you're still thinking about that shit. You know what I mean? And that's how I am about you. And we've met before, whether you know it or not.
We did. No, I know. We met. What's funny was in a weird time. I was about 15 years ago or so. You were in, not 15, maybe it was. No, I think I was going to. I forget what I was going to do in Montreal, but it was my first time going to Montreal, and you came in the Eastville Comedy Club, and I talked to you for a moment, and I thought it was the coolest thing that when I was leaving, you kind of stopped me, and you were like, "Hey kid," you're like, "Good luck in Montreal," and I called my stepfather immediately, and I was like, "Dice just wish me good luck in Montreal." It was the craziest thing, and we've passed each other a few times. Go ahead.
No, I'm just listening to you.
Oh, and Florentine, one time, I remember standing next to you and Florentine, looking at Florentine with the air of like, "Will you please, God, introduce me to Dice?" And he just started his own conversation with me, and then you wandered off after a while at this Comedy Cellar, and I was like, "Son of a bitch."
He's one of my best friends in comedy. I only have a few, and Florentine loves when I do things that affect people in a negative way. Yeah.
He's the king of it.
Like the night, this is how Jim Norton even got to open for me. Okay. I met Florentine at the Comedy Store, I don't know, who even knows, a couple decades ago.
Right.
And he was with Jim Norton, You know, and you know, he's got that dry voice. How you doing? You know.
Yeah.
And he goes, I want a picture. You know, and I look at him. I go, yeah, everybody wants. You know. And he goes, no, I really, you know, can I get a picture with you? And I go, why would I take a picture with you? I don't know you. You know. He goes, well, you know, I'm a big fan of yours. And I go, I'm not taking a picture. I don't know you. You know. He goes, you're really not going to take a picture with us? I go, there's really no reason for it.
I like the rationalization.
And he goes, you don't understand. We know your album, The Day the Laughter Died, by heart. Every word, every line. I go, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do for you. You and this guy, who's Jim Norton,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you guys to go on stage here at the store as a team, and you do like 10 minutes of the album. If you're so fucking good and know the album so inside and out. And they did it.
Wow.
No
I
shit.
couldn't even believe it. They went back and forth like they were a comedy team. It was the greatest thing I ever saw.
Well, they were roommates that time,
Okay.
I think, still.
All right, so let me tell you what happened. So, of course, we take the pictures and we hang out the rest of the night. The next morning, this is going to turn into underwear. At that time, I had this big, like, champagne-colored Cadillac Brougham, right? I just want the visual of the car in this. So I call up Norton because they told me where they're staying, which was the Bellage Hotel off of Sunset. And I get Norton on the phone and I go, meet me downstairs in 10 minutes with that other guy. And he goes, Florentine? And I go, yeah. You know, so they're downstairs. I pull up. I go, get in the car like it's a rush. I make it like it's a rush. And there's another comic with them. And they go, can he come? I go, I don't know him. He's not in. And they get in the car and we just speed off. And we stop. I drive. They would tell you this story even better than me. We drive to a 7-Eleven, right? And I go, come inside with me, you know. And they go, what are we doing? I go, just get giant Coca-Cola Slurpees, you know. And they go, why? I go, stick with me on this. Just trust me on this one, you know. So they get the Slurpees. They don't even know why. I'm just fucking with them. I drive downtown L.A., and they're going, where are we going? I go, Disco Light Shopping. And they go, what? I go, I got like a nightclub in my house I call Club 33, so I got to get some new lights for me and my wife. You know, so now we're like in the worst part of downtown. We're trying to ask for directions. I stop in the middle of the street. Florentine's asking this guy for directions, but I just slam on the gas pedal. He just looks at me and he goes, why would you do that? You know, and I go, just stick with it. So now we're in these, and they're helping me pick out lights and giant speakers for no reason at all. Now we're up on Hollywood Boulevard, right? In like some ladies' like sexy underwear place. And me and Norton walk to the back, and there's this beast of a woman in a dressing room trying on sex. I'm just there to buy stuff for my wife, but this fucking monster in a dressing room trying on these fuck. I couldn't even look, and I could fuck just about anything, but not this. You know, this woman looked like fucking Shrek. So
there's 15 ethnic dicks for that girl always around the corner.
Oh, really? Well, the ethnic dick that was with her, this fucking Asian guy was standing out front of the store, but Norton manages to get her number. Okay? And when I called Norton 2 hours later, Florentine goes, he can't come to the phone because he's jerking off in the bathroom with that monster from the negligee store. And I told Florentine, I go, tell him he's hired.
Great.
Tell him I think he's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that was the beginning of Norton opening up for me.
I'll get an orange Cheeto finger hand job from a fat pig to go on tour with your dice. You point out the pig. You point out the pig. I'll take it.
That's it. That's
I want a girl. I want a girl to stop blowing me to do root beer burps.
But listen. I got the place. I know what we should do because it's got to be something special. And in my mind, one of the first places I did in L.A. when things started happening was the Roxy. Was the you know the Roxy?
I just did the goddamn comedy jam there when I was in town a couple weeks ago. And it's an amazing room.
Okay, I say we do the Roxy beginning of August.
Okay, you call the date and I'll make sure I'm there.
Wow.
I will get the date for the Suck My Dick Fingerless Glove Tour. We start there.
The inaugural show.
Wow.
We start. I think people. Honestly, I think it'll sell out in 12, 14 minutes.
I think the people will be really excited.
Jay, I just went on sale on the East Coast because my agent calls me the warm weather comic. I hate going out in the cold weather. I've been touring a long time. I don't need to do it that much. So I don't do a radio. I haven't done an interview like this even. I never go on anybody. Now and then. Like I don't do written. I don't give a fuck, and it'll just sell out. But normal rooms, like 3,000 seat rooms,
Yeah.
So my agent's calling me like yesterday going, we might need a second show in Staten Island. We might need a third show out in Long Island where I'm doing the, you ever do the Paramount in Long Island?
I have. I did it with David Tell a while back. Yeah. Great theater.
Okay. Yeah. I'm doing a couple shows there, that are on sale now. I'm doing, whatever the places in Staten Island and Jersey, Atlantic City, all these fucking. But I don't like doing press. I don't believe in it.
Sure, I mean? It's the one thing I say every weekend when I'm on the road. I go, how long before they realize that me doing, Hop Along and Johnny's morning country hits, in fucking bumfuck nowhere, does nothing for the show.
And guess what, my friend? You got your own fucking radio show, so you don't need that. You got to realize you're on the air right now. You got to understand, you're like a sex symbol comic. You don't even know how you affect people. So whoever your girlfriend is, you're like The Rock with hair. You understand?
Holy shit!
That's how people sort of look at you. And you're a big, strong guy from fucking Philly. But the key to this tour is that we're both in the fingerless gloves.
Oh, yeah.
The wristband is optional. I like to work when you got the wristband.
I have a lot of...
The wristband is cool. See, that's what I like about you. You're influenced, but you're you. When I see a guy impersonating me, that makes me angry. And I've seen that, and I don't want to badmouth anybody today. I love everybody today. But fuck those guys. You're an original guy with an original style. But when I saw the gloves, I'm like, it's the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? I love this fucking guy. It's just, and it's really so ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't even know why I wear them.
What's been really fun is, and I think this has broken down so many walls with it, and people end up just having to admit they sort of like it too, and they get it. Is I've been questioned on stage, by someone who maybe didn't know who I was coming in. And they'll go, "Why the fingerless gloves?" And my answer is simply like, "I don't know. Aren't they pretty cool?" I don't really have a good answer. Like, I'm not protecting the world from anything.
Cool.
I go, "I don't know. I thought it looks pretty cool." And there's no better.
Cool.
And it's kind of what you said. You're being a performer, and that doesn't really happen anymore. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't go out there.
You know what?
Yep.
The mailman is not showing up with fingerless gloves and silver wristbands wrapped around his wrist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you pay to see it perform, the reason people pay to go to a movie or a live show or seeing a rock band is because it's not the guy next door.
Right.
That's what I hate about the social media. It's just too fucking close.
I
You know what I
completely
mean?
agree. That is a
Like,
major problem with it, is
what-
that you're so touchable and like you shouldn't be always that easily reachable.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of fans I have that know how to walk that line, and then the ones that don't know, I devastate, on their site.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, they think if they write something to me about, like I don't have a lot of hair anymore, you're older. Like I'm not allowed to fucking age, right?
What else was going to happen?
Yeah, exactly. There's one alternative to that. So when they write something like that, like you're a piece of shit, I go, oh, that's interesting that they think that. Now I go to their site, I check out their pictures, I see the ugly pig that they've had a fuck for the last 20 years, and I go, I could understand, or I see like a picture of their mom, and I go, is that the cunt you fell out of years ago? Because that's what she would have to be for you to speak like that to a worldwide star. She never taught you anything, so she's a cunt. Now picture the mother seeing that comment. So the best thing I say to people is if you don't like me or what I do, stay the fuck out.
That's it.
Because I'm the worst there is. I am the absolute. You know what Joe Rogan calls it when he sees me get mad at somebody on stage? He calls it dice mean.
Dice
And
mean?
he just goes, there is dice mean. He loves it because there's no more comedy involved. Now it's just fucking personal.
I like those moments where you have to break down. You have to break down and just be like, no, I'm gonna kick you in the face, or the security's gonna have to drag you out of here.
Let me tell you something. The last fight I had at when I was doing the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas, and this guy goes, I'm gonna pick you up, and all of a sudden I just grab him by the fucking jugular, because he goes to pick me up, and I was gonna bust his fucking jaw if Eleanor didn't fucking jump on my back the way she did. That's what I mean. When they cross the fucking line, that's when there's a problem. That's it. Yeah. And I don't care who it is. And I go through everything. I've been going through it for years. Sort of makes it exciting. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But that's what the social media... It's like, you really think you're going to write something bad to me? And people will write to me, fuck the haters. They don't understand what... And then they get put under surveillance, which you might not know that. Because celebrity sites are monitored. Everybody's fucking monitored. That's number one.
Sure.
But when somebody writes something really bad to you, authorities monitor them for 18 months. All their sites. They don't realize that shit, that the next time they send a fucking text, handcuffs might be going on them. It's stalking. That's basically what that shit is.
Yeah, now they call it trolling, and it's not a crime now.
Yeah, sure it isn't. Till I start sending people to that fucking house. I get nuts from that shit. I fucking hate everybody. And I'm just not that guy to fuck with in that way. Because I try to be cool and do my own. Do you do your own, like, Instagram and shit?
Yeah, I do. I'm not very good at it, but I do. And like I said, I do hate it's funny, you get all the positive and it feels great. And then you're like, oh, things are going good. And then you get like 2 or 3 in a day where people are just going like, fuck you, I don't get it, you suck. And then you're like, man, why do they have the power to even make sure I see what their stupid thought is?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. But then, depending on what that comment is, if you report that as spam, they have a problem they can't fucking handle. I just want you to know that. And that monitoring could go up to 5 years, depending on, forget about if they write something bad to you. If they're writing bad shit to other people,
No, for sure.
We'll never know.
I also get angry too. How many hands I bet I've shaken of somebody who's tried to fuck with me online, but they're just fans trying to get a rise out of you, and then they meet you and are like, "It's really great to meet you, big fan." You're like,
So many.
yeah, I'm sure it happens much.
Most people are just fucking pussies. You know that.
Sure.
You know.
Absolutely.
And you are Big J, so not everybody's going to look to fuck with you. You know. And
it's funny if they do, though. I'm certain they can win. If somebody fucks with me, I'm always like,
the point is,
good.
You're on the air.
Yeah.
You got your podcast. You got your own radio show. You've done fucking specials. You're in fucking concert. They could suck your fucking dick till the cows come home. You understand? It's all jealousy. It's all fucking envy. They could all just go fuck themselves.
Hell
and those
yeah.
will probably be the first people to buy our tickets. That's just how it works.
Dice, you've done more for me in this hour than my father's done in 40 years.
All right. So listen,
yes.
Dog, I think you're the greatest, but it was time to talk. And, you know, once we get off the air and everything, you got my number, but I'm going to have I'll have my agent get a date. Is August good for you?
I'll make it good for me. I promise.
Okay.
My guy is Ed Brook, who I believe you worked with Ed Brook before. That's who my guy is. Justin.
No,
Ed
wait
Brook.
a minute. Wait, aren't you also Justin? Yeah,
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
One of the nicest fucking guys. So, all right. So you're with him, and my guy will know how to get to your guy, and we'll set this up quickly. And I'm saying a 12-minute sellout.
I believe you.
That's what I'm saying.
Dice, I love you, man.
Yeah.
It was so great to talk to you officially, and I will get a hold of you off the air for sure, and we'll follow up on this, and this is something that's going to happen. So I say tentatively we're going to do August, and let's make it happen, man.
We'll set it up over the next couple days, and this has just been this made my day, really.
Thank you.
I think you're terrific, and let's do some stuff together, and we're just gonna. It'll be like a fucking tornado. I'm telling you.
Man, 100%.
Phenomenal.
Thank you so much, Dice. That's Andrew Dice Clay, everybody. Thank you so much. Check out his sons Dylan and Max's band, Still Rebel, and
Still Rebel.
And on Spotify and iTunes, and check it. If you get the reference, you're in the cool club.
Best video.
Ford fan, the first video I ever whacked it to.
Me too.
Actually, I think the only music video ever, but that was a big one. That's Rock the Cradle of Love, Billy Idol, from Adventures of Ford Fairlane, starring Andrew Dice Clay, my new best friend.
Watching you talk to him, holy shit.
It was crazy. It's Bonfire, Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. Big J. Oakerson hanging out in lieu of a Dan Soder at Nana's house.
Nana.
Mike Fenoya.
Yep.
And now joining us in studio, one of my favorite people in the world, one of the funniest comedians flat out in the world for as long as I've watched. The most feared person for me to follow in this city always. You've seen her on Comedy Central. Mother of the most adorable child I think that's ever been created. The hilarious Jessica Kirson joins us, everybody.
Hi, thank you for having me. That was so nice.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry that the time everything got bumped back a little bit today.
No, it's okay. I'm used to being treated like shit in this business. This is familiar. I'm shocked I even got on.
Thanks for this cup of sand.
Yeah, like he needs to sell tickets. I mean...
it's so exciting to have you here. It's the first time on the show, so
yeah.
I hope we can make this happen more and more often. I was your daughter, as we said, so adorable, a baby still. We started the show with my daughter, 15, is just doing every annoying 15-year-old thing possible.
Horrible.
Attitude sucks. We're finding there's booze this year. I think some weed stuff.
Oh.
Vaping. They don't even smoke cigarettes now. It's vaping. Oh, I forget who I told that to. I have a lot of dumb friends. One of them went like, well, it's better than cigarettes.
No, it's not.
I'm like, it's just a thing. It's unnecessary. I almost understand cigarettes. I don't understand picking up vaping, you hump.
No,
what's the point of that?
Yeah. And they have the same name.
Yeah, that's right. Yours S, though, right? ISA?
Yeah, ISABELLA.
Yeah, Isabella's with a Z because her mom wanted her to be a rapper. I guess her mom wanted her to be a rapper. How old is Isabella now?
She's going to be 2.5.
That's so young. So
I love your Instagram when you're like, this kid is so wasted.
Yeah, I always say she's drunk.
Just walking down the hall bumping into walls.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, and she's like, you're fat. You know, she's just becomes really horrible when she's drunk.
Words.
You'll never make it.
you gotta write more.
Yeah.
You have no stage presence.
So you find out there was no baby. It was just in your mind. That's your Tyler Durden.
It's all in my mind. There's never been a baby.
Jessica, you know we can't have a child. Why do you keep bringing it up? But she's right there.
There was never even an Instagram.
I keep breastfeeding.
There's just a fucking fat cat in your house that's sucking your milk.
Yeah.
That's not even there. It's so fucking great.
Oh, you have so much to prepare for. No matter what, no matter how good of a parent you were to those little babies, they will shove it right up your asshole the second they get a chance.
Yeah, but then I'll just take off like my parents did.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I'm joking. They didn't. I wish they did sometimes.
Oh, no.
Mine did, and I still don't want kids. So
my dad split pretty good, and then I see my dad like once every I see my dad like once or twice a year maybe, because he'll come to a show when I'm local to him, and now he's my best buddy. He wants to hang out. We never had, by the way, even a contentious like, you know, where he was like keep me down or hit me or anything. He was just completely like, oh yeah, my kid in Philly, I forgot. Like,
right.
That was like literally his whole life. And I said something to him about it a few years back after we hadn't talked for a couple years, just because I didn't call him. You know what I mean? And he was just like, he forgot to call me for 7 years because I made a decision that I wasn't calling him. And then I said something to him after that about like kind of being like a shitty father, and he just made a few excuses for himself and never really, he almost took it as like, you know, bygones, right? Like he kind of had that take on it. So we never really got into a deep heat, and I'm very willing to accept whatever, man. Just
it's just not part of who he is. Are you his only child?
No. He's got 2 other kids who he's wonderfully a part of their life.
Oh, that's tough.
But I'm fine with it. Actually, doesn't bother me. I swear to you, I'm happy he was great to them.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I have no problem with that at all. Because I had a stepfather come in when I was 10 or 11, and he's still with my mom. He's great. It's Joe. Joe's like my dad as far as that goes. You know, my everyday person I would tell news to would be Joe. But Mike, who just had a breakthrough with his father in a conversation after years, decides, well, I'm getting ready to walk my dad to the car. It was out of nowhere as this, almost. It was me going, all right, I'm going to walk my dad to the car, and he goes, I had to talk with my dad recently, and amigo, I think we really got some things off our chest, man. I feel like 1,000,000 pounds off my chest just talking it out and just hashing out all of our issues. And I went, what?
And then I'm like, I'll catch you guys later.
Catch you on the greasy, bro.
Yeah.
And he goes on. And then I walk my dad to my car, and I'm waiting. I almost started a fight with a guy in the street who was doing something minimally annoying to avoid what he did next, which was like, that sounds like it's rough for Mike. That's why I'm glad me and you always had a great relationship. And I went, that's the noise I made. I went, don't, not now, dude. I go, I don't care. You were young. I get it. You were 19. I don't care. It's fine. I'm fine. I go, let's not. He's like, yeah, but I think me and you, I go, yeah, we had like a dicey couple decades in there, but it's fine though.
It's a couple decades.
Well, because earlier in the thing, my dad, and this has nothing to do with Mike on this one, my dad blurts out something where he's like, you know what's really great? I have 3 just good guy, well-adjusted, like successful,
that's what got me to say what I said.
He goes, even boys, I really do. And I went, no, Dad, you don't know me that well. I'm all fucked up. And Mike was there. I said that. I go, no, dude, I'm all fucked up. I'm all fucked up. He goes, no, what do you mean? I go, yeah, you're seeing me at a comedy club twice a year. I go, I'm telling you, no, don't, but you don't have to worry about it. I'm just telling you, like, you're just making a false comment. I hope the other 2 are fantastic, but I have to decide what drugs to take every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's Afrin or OxyContin. It depends on the fucking day of the week.
I get it.
At my therapist convinced me to finally have like a 30-year like
you
long
told me
conversation.
you texted me, and I was jealous actually, and
it was phenomenal.
So Mike thought he'd pay it forward by landing on my pop at midnight in fucking Cleveland, Ohio.
My timing's wrong, but hey, my heart's in the right place. I want everybody to feel good, man.
Maybe you guys should have a real emotional talk before the next show.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys go over to Chocolate Bar and talk it out?
Why don't you guys hug?
Yeah. I feel like, Jay, now look at your dad, amigo, and say, I have issue with the way...
So what I hear you saying is that I wasn't always around.
Then he handed us pillow swords and told us to really get it out of our system.
I'll blow pot smoke in your faces while you guys Say what you hurt the most.
Well, my mom's a therapist, so my mom would do therapy with me all the time. And when I was upset with her, she would sometimes give me a bat and a pillow. Is that not fucking hilarious?
Really? And just wail on it.
I wouldn't do it. I would never do it. I would be like, I'm not doing it.
You'd rub the bat with the pillow instead.
I'd put the bat inside of myself and smother my face with the pillow, and then beat myself.
I've
is
always
what you
taken
made,
it out
Mommy.
on myself. This is what you made, Mommy.
Yeah,
You did this.
Your little girl's in pain.
Yeah.
Smell the bat now, Mom.
Smell, and then I would pass it around at Passover dinner
put it
and
under
have
the
my
table?
Aunt Sheila sniff
Just
it.
Sanchez your mom with the bat.
Yeah.
What smells like hot broccoli in here?
Sanchez. Oh God.
That is your dad. Your dad was around always too.
He did stick around. Yeah, he moved to when they got divorced. He moved to Jersey, and he could have moved away. So I have to give him that. He really did stick around.
Yeah. Well, it's it's the reason I said with Isabel. Like when people even say like, "Would you move out to LA?" I go, she'd understand if I was like, I got to go for 3 months to do a thing.
Right.
And I could even have her come out or something in those 3 months at one point. But to move where my permanent yearly residence is in LA, I wouldn't do that until.
Yeah.
But if she goes off to college, it doesn't really. When she's really 18,
But that's admirable because
it sort of doesn't matter. But I still
say that.
I like to be present in her life as much as possible. Today, I told her the opposite. I was like, well, all this great dadding's got me nothing. Should have just turned my back on you when I walked out that door. You're going to fuck up anyway, it turns out.
Your mom had a therapy office in your house that you grew up in.
Yeah, in the basement.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I had to be quiet every day. That's totally true. I mean, it was horrible because I was a kid. Like, I wanted to run around every day. I had to be quiet. And she would say things to me like, Judy's coming and Judy's having a really hard time, so I'm going to need you to be really quiet because Judy's... And I'd be like, I'm like, meanwhile, I'm eating like 6 pizzas, beheading my Barbies, fucking the cat. I'm like, I'm glad Judy's doing really well, but I'm going to kill myself.
She's like, Jessica, shush.
Yeah.
Judy's having a hard time orgasming. She needs to talk about what she can't get over this point in her head somehow.
Can't you cut yourself quieter?
Ow! 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 Shh. Mommy's in a session.
Pain is invisible. Shut up.
But there were no phones or anything. I couldn't even get in touch with her, and the clients would just come to the house and be hanging out, and sometimes they'd sit in the den with the housekeeper's daughter who was Haitian and be watching cartoons.
Oh my
It was
God.
amazing. It's a sitcom.
Yeah, it totally
Yeah,
is.
it'll never be made because this business is horrible. But it's a great idea.
Just have like a little Jessica Kirson listening through the crack in the door.
Yeah, I used to
thing.
listen on the stairs in
Of
the basement
course.
to all the sessions, and yeah.
What's
it
the
was great.
craziest thing you've ever heard? Do you think?
Well,
you
I would hear
remember?
people screaming at each other. She would have them like scream, like no, fuck you. Like they would.
So she did
scream.
forms of therapy was like that. It wasn't just like the talking. It was like.
Oh no, she did couples groups. She was an art therapist at first, so there'd just be like, sometimes she would do projects with them, and I'd walk in and there'd be like tinfoil all over the. I'm like, it looks like everyone just got a meatball parm, and she'd analyze it. That person has a lot of resistance.
You're upstairs flicking bean with a cheese grater, and she's downstairs trying to talk a pedophile out of boy fucking.
We're sharing an eighth of mushrooms.
It's true. I'm not kidding. I was always suffering and trying to get help. But it's okay.
Were you a rebellious kid at all?
Yeah, but I always I didn't get in too much trouble, but I started using drugs and drinking at 12, and then I was with my friends, and I was.
What kind of drugs that young?
I wore a jean jacket with Rush on the back. Can you believe that? I was fucking like a burnout.
Big Grateful Dead fan.
Yeah. I was really into music and being with my friends, and I had really cool friends, so that got me through.
What drugs were you? Were you a popular kid in school and stuff?
Yeah, because I was friends with everyone because I felt bad for everybody. It's like when my family would hire someone to help in the kitchen when we had dinner. I would sit with them and be like, "Do you want some matzo ball soup?" I was always trying to
help.
Do you want to know where the good?
Meanwhile, my
jewelry's
grandma was
hidden?
like, "They're being paid $200 to be here." It was they were working, but I felt bad for them.
Leave the schwarze to her work.
The girl. They were always called the
jewels
girl.
into their pockets. Take this home.
No, I always pot, and then I got into all kinds of stuff in high school. I did ecstasy constantly, like the real shit.
Yeah.
And mushroom, everything. I mean, I loved it. Thank God, never
Does coke
heroin.
get introduced to school?
Yeah, I did coke in high school.
I didn't
Did
touch
you?
that until college.
Yeah, I don't remember even hearing about that being around. And then my
We
senior
didn't
year of
see it
school,
around
I
in
moved
co-
schools, and when I went to the suburban school, is where suburban. I'm not sure why I put the inflection on the wrong spot there. The suburbans.
The suburbans.
Out there is where all the heroin kids were. A bunch of kids OD'd in that school that year.
Wow.
Very weird. But
When
I never
you were
even,
in high school?
senior year of high school.
Wow.
But I was in Philly until senior year of high school, and most there I heard about was kids smoking pot sort of and drinking, but I never heard about any other hardcore drugs at all. How did you do sex young?
I was with guys, you know, and I never wanted to be in a relationship with them, and I just didn't have sex until I went to college.
Did you want to have sex with guys though? At that point, you thought? Or,
I did.
Didn't even know.
Yeah, I did, but I wasn't. I mean, I fooled around with a lot of guys. I just didn't have intercourse until I was, I think, 17.
Yeah, I was my age too.
Really?
14.
17. Yeah.
Oh, you whore.
Yeah.
Made up stories. My mom owned a brothel. Mike's like some old jazz man stories.
Yep. My mom was banging this dealer, and he brought his sister.
Tell you something, amigo.
She said, go tuck my boy in. No, she tucked me in, all right.
You ain't had a blowjob till you had it down on the bayou.
Toothless. Rough.
Oh, man, she was just side jawing it the whole time like a walrus tusk. Shit got crazy. I popped my load. Her grandmama walked through the door. I ran right past that dusty old bitch into the Cadillac. Oh, yeah.
You ever see a little boy come and cry at the same time?
That's what lesbians do.
That's why I like you guys.
Yeah, I don't know what Isabel's thing with sex is going to be. I can't even guess.
Oh.
I don't even have a guess at
Let
it.
that. Don't think about that. You don't want to think about that.
I have nothing to think about. I couldn't even get. She is so immature to me as a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
That I can't even wrap my brain around. It seems like it would be ridiculous for it. Even though she's 5'11" and all that shit, I still see that it'd be like it would look ridiculous. Not because of my daughter, just that age of fucking in general. It would be like, this is silly.
I know what you mean. It pretty much is silly at that
It's
age.
super fucking silly, dude.
People don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, you're right, for sure. No, it definitely is silly. I spent the whole time, most of the time when I was losing my virginity that night was like trying not to laugh and fart while she was licking my balls. I hated it. I still get a case of the tickles every now and again on the balls, but back then,
Me
the first
too.
time, I was like, just feeling tongue on your balls. Like, come on, stop. Like, I'm sorry.
Is it like
very jerky.
Is it like when you have an itch in your tooth? Is it that kind of a thing where you keep wanting to play with it, but it's torture?
The tickling the balls?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying it's ticklish. Like if someone's tickling your under armpit or something. It would touch, and I would want to laugh and slam my knee shut on her head, and kill her like a Walking Dead zombie.
You should do that.
My ex-girlfriend was licking my balls, and then she went down and started to lick near my asshole, and I accidentally I just had a knee-jerk a reaction, and I kicked her in the fucking shoulder. I just healed her right in the clav.
She had to lick your asshole, and then she got knocked out by your knee. I mean, if that's not a horrible night.
It was pretty bad.
Dude, do we show this yet on the air?
I don't know if we showed it.
Or think
I think you may have mentioned it.
Did I mention it? It's really hilarious. That's my dad and the two other brothers.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It says
pajama parties.
Okay, I think it's better that he wasn't around a lot. That's frightening.
But he goes.
Instead of knuckles,
Are they
footy
gay
pajama
twins?
comic.
It's no. He says, shout out to this dude. We joke a lot, but I couldn't have asked for a better role model than Big G. Love you, Pop. From my brother. So I'm like, yeah, we have different perspectives, I guess. But it's fine.
They do look okay.
They look great. I'll tell you what my dad did for me. Showed up to Cleveland this week. I'll tell you what I had. I had a lot of weed on me. I had a lot of rolling papers. I do not have a lot of skills in rolling joints. Pops came in, rolled 3 for me real quick.
He rolled them like a drum tech. They were tight,
things.
70s, tight joints.
Oh, no, he did a good job.
He did a great job.
He's got those weird
dude.
masculine hands, just bust the weed up. Mike
he
loves
looks
him.
masculine in that picture.
I
Mike
love
loves
his
him,
dad.
yeah.
His dad's fucking great, but
he's a party.
I don't really.
Gary comes to party. And he likes to hang out after the
when
show.
everyone loves your parent and you're like, but you don't understand this, and that. Yeah.
No, I fully get it. Like I said before, the thing about it, I had to come to the realization of whatever his thing was in being kind of like a deadbeat dad to me, because it wasn't. I thought he was the coolest. Well into even my early 20s and stuff, I knew the problems. I knew he didn't pay child support and all that stuff, and fucked up with that a lot. Until my mom had taken him to court for, and like didn't show up to pick me up. I knew all the disappointments he created, but when he would show, like he really did the less is more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not out there doing 6-hour Chappelle sets. He was just coming and doing little showcase stuff. And then I was like, I want to do more of that. This guy's he plays pool and he smokes cigarettes and he's awesome and listens to Pink Floyd and shit.
Loves Pink Floyd.
His new wife was like pretty hot, and it wasn't my mom, it was my so I'm like, you're not looking like your mom now. Now you're like, look at my dad.
I had the exact same situation with my stepmother. When the first time I met her, I was like, oh my God, Dad did well. I mean, leather pants, 20-year-old, just hot.
Well, he got like a 40-year-old, my dad. And this is my dad being probably 24.
Oh, wow.
Wow. She was like in her late 30s, early 40s. She had teenage kids already. Her kids were teenagers, and he came in and he just found a woman where it's like she probably had money. She was making money. She wasn't like wealthy at all. I know that. She lived like in a row home in Philly somewhere. Or the suburbs of Philadelphia. The suburbs of Philadelphia. She lived out there, and but I just know she was like living her life already, and he was able to mosey into a world like, look at that, look who's living in a house that quick, from leaving my mom and shit. So she was great though, So he left her for Diane that he's with now, and in Ohio, and then moved to Ohio, and he moved to Ohio for a chick when I was like 10. And that was it. So even like the missing weekends, and then it was just kind of like. But when I hung out with him, I always thought it was the best. I really. I would tell people the stories my dad told me that are probably bullshit, which I sort of called him on when he was telling us story with Mike this week. He's like, I saw Pink Floyd do The Wall when I was in the Navy in Rome. They did it at the Coliseum in Rome. I was like, you told me that before. I go, also one of the other sounds like dad bullshit stories that you smoked a joint with David Bowie and got kicked out of the Navy for it. Like, really?
And he goes, I did. I really did. I was sitting on Greenwich Village and Bowie walked by and we were rolling a joint and he goes, hey, me too, buddy, and we both smoked a joint together.
It's great. And my dad's like Corey Feldman too. He tells you the story that David Bowie was happy to meet him in some way.
Right, yeah. Bowie was like, hey dude, thank you for your service.
That's what Corey Feldman did in that Corey in the Two Corys movie. He writes the scene of him meeting Michael Jackson with Michael Jackson going like, hey, I've heard you've been working on my dance moves. I've been hearing a lot about you. And that's what he had. Michael Jackson recognized him. Yeah. Michael Jackson recognized Corey Feldman first, is what they made it seem like.
Exactly.
That's my dad. My dad's like, David Bowie was like, he's like, you seem like really cool guys. I'm going to kick it with you. And we were like, all right, DB, get in here.
Bowie's telling Lou Reed at the Gramercy Hotel about how he met Gary. Guys, I finally met Gary. It was as fucking great as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, David Bowie's on his deathbed. He goes, did I ever tell you about the time I was walking through Greenwich Village and I saw Gary right there on the steps?
And he was an amazing father.
I'll tell you one thing. I said, have children because you're going to be great at it, mate.
3, 2,
oh, man.
Fucking Gary.
Fucking Gary.
Dads. I don't ever want to be one. I don't ever want to be a dad.
Yeah, why not? If you can.
Sounds like a fucking dream come true, man.
Christine seems to get the itch once in a while when she gets angry with me. That'll be one of her stomp arounds. Like, and you don't even want to have any more kids? I'm like, no. There's not enough room on the world for the kids I produce, clearly, because this one's grown out of life completely. She is 6 feet tall. She's 15. It's a very expensive thing to happen in your life. Is to have a kid grow up like that.
She's going to turn out fine.
And there's my dad. There's Diane.
There's Gary. See, that's his dad on the side. Doesn't he look like George Papadopoulos from Webster?
That's great. That's so funny. That's my dad at my brother's high school graduation. The morning of my high school graduation, my dad came to town, and the girl who I lost my virginity to, who I was like fucking once in a while, he went out to breakfast with me and her and asked her if she's ever been with a father and son before or thought about it.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
I fucking love Gary.
First night he met my ex-wife, he told her that she has amazing breasts, by the way, and that was a peeking from between the seats of driving. Carla's in the passenger side, I'm driving, and he goes, so wow, you're going out dancing without Jay tonight with some friends? He goes, with you're all just kind of hanging out there. He's not being insulting. He's like, you're kind of hanging out there. You look like you're ready to have a good time, huh? And he pops his head through and goes, "You have amazing breasts, by the way."
Fucking Gary.
No wonder why you take drugs every day. Why are you even questioning
Some
that?
days
Just
it's
let it
Afrin,
be.
though.
No wonder why David Bowie was so stoked to meet him. I mean, fuck.
Oh, that guy's a party, huh?
Is your dad married to Nancy Pelosi?
No, but similar sense of humor.
That's great. Oh, that's fucking awesome.
She is absolutely fucking great. Jessica Kirson, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you. I
hanging out
love
with
you.
some
Know how
Stars
much
Went
I
So
love
Fast.
you.
And please come back soon and do a whole show. Actually, if what we gotta have you do is when Dan Soder, just his complete and utter lack of respect for the show, never shows up, and I have to have guest hosts.
Yeah.
I'm teasing. No, Dan's is great, but Dan. When he has conflicting things, if you ever want to come in and guest host with me,
I would
that'd
love
be
to.
a blast.
Are you kidding
Do the full
me?
2 hours and take calls and have some fun.
Sometimes dice calls.
Oh, I hope
Sometimes
he
dice
calls the next time too.
Is that the only plug we have for Jessica? That's it.
Yeah,
Just for your tour dates.
I have a bunch of dates coming up, and I'm Instagram Jessie Kirson, and
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah, JessicaKirson.com. Jessica, KIRSON.com. Absolutely one of the funniest comedians I've ever witnessed in my life, and I've been doing this for a whole bunch of years, too. Just
thank you, Jay.
And an amazing fucking person.
And an amazing, an even more amazing person. Everyone loves Jessica. I've never heard a bad word about you. Someone out
Same
there's got to have
exactly.
something.
Can say the same exact thing about you and both of you.
Well, you've never met Gary.
Yeah, but nobody really knows me.
Quite honestly, the kid was a piece of shit. That was the fun when I told you when I told my dad, I was like, "Hey, Dad, you were kind of like weren't there, and you blah blah blah, and this and that, and my grandfather to teach me how to throw a ball. Then he died when I was 10. He was great. My grandfather, until I was 10 years old when he passed away, was unbelievable. Everything. Took me to my baseball games, everything. My dad goes, your grandfather wasn't so perfect. He cheated on your grandmother. Why are you telling me that? He's like, I got to go call my real sons.
And Santa's not real.
So again, JessicaKirson.com for all of her tour dates. Go see her. Mike Fenoya at Mike Fenoya on Twitter. On Thursday, May 24th, 7 p.m., Mike's new show, Amigos, is at the Comedy Cellar. 3 comics doing half-hour sets. I believe I'm on that one.
You're
yes.
on that one.
Go to thecomedycellar.com for tickets. If you want to see me this weekend, this is the last live show of the weekend or the week. So tomorrow there is going to be a Lost Tapes, but also tomorrow I will be in San Antonio, Texas, LOL Comedy Club. I'm there tomorrow through Saturday. And then next weekend, Dr. Grin's, Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's Thursday through Saturday next weekend. And then, of course, Sunday, Rock on the Range, Columbus, Ohio, with headliners, Tool and Godsmack. How fun is that going to be? Make sure you check out Soder. Helium, Portland. That also starts tomorrow, everybody. That's tomorrow through Saturday. For tickets and all of our tour dates for Dan, go to dansoder.com.
June 1st and 2nd, I'll be at the Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. So
Way
go
to
to
steal one more plug.
Comedy Connection. Well, you didn't read it, so...
Did it say it?
Yeah, it fucking said it.
Oh, yeah, after that. Well, usually the plugs don't have a...
Well, did I write them?
Then,
did I write them? ...
continuing.
Maybe
Mike will...
This chick to my right wrote it.
Oh, that broad?
Hey, congratulations on Dice calling in. You got to talk to your hero. It was really fucking cool to watch that happen, man.
Thank you, brother.
That was
Thank
great.
you so much.
That
Great
reminds me of
week,
when
everyone.
I met Frank Vignola.
Another leather-jacketed hero of comedy. Was he drinking a cold that was once hot coffee?
He asked me to iron his Cowboys
Standing in the back
jersey.
of a comedy club.
If everyone knew that, this is such a funny reference.
We used to call him the Vignons. That's what me and DeRose used to go. He goes, did you see the Vignons tonight? Frankie Vignons? Frank Vignola, the crotchety of comedy. On behalf of the whole crew, great week, everyone. Luz, Christine, Jacob, and your freaky neck. We'll catch you all next week when Dan Soder returns, and you can call and find out firsthand if he's single on the Bonfire.